But ladies and gentlemen, you know who it is. You know what it is. Right now, we've got the man of the hour, JB Stats, is on the line. JB, how you doing today, man?
Doing good, fellas. How's everybody?
Doing good, doing good.
We're doing well, man. I'm just, it's a lot to go over. It's a lot that we need to talk about, and we don't have a lot of time, but we got a lot to talk about.
I don't know if we got enough show.
Bruh, I think we got to.
Hey, JB, now I just want to know, how many notepads have you went through?
I'm on my second legal notepad right now, not the little dollar store joints. I'm on my second yellow pad.
The second yellow pad. And ladies and gentlemen, for those young listeners, if you don't know, they have no edges on. There are no lines that block you off, so there's no boundary on it. You can keep writing and then flip the page over and just write upside down.
Yep.
JB, man, what is going on in JB Stats world?
You know what? A lot of uncertainty. I'm cool with some adaptations of the moves, and then other ones are just quite puzzling. For instance, obviously, glad Luke Getsy's gone. But then we keep the O-line coach when the O-line was not that great. But then we keep, you see what I'm saying? Like I don't know what direction they're going in, just kind of haphazardly moving along right now from what I see. And then I see other teams like really digging in, and, I'm really, really interested to see if Ian Cunningham takes the Washington job and if that eliminates them from being a trade contender.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts on this thing, and now I'm scared. Because
I'm scared.
because now this just opened up a whole bunch of I don't know. Now with Getsy gone, who is going to take this position where they have a lame duck coach that possibly won't be here the next year? Who are they going to bring in? Are they going to take a quarterback with this first pick? I mean, there's so many things going on right now, and all of the NFLdom that are the Chicago Bears, the Monsters of the Midway, everything for the next couple of weeks right now, coming up to this, everything relies on this for the next decade, And
absolutely. And it's just weird because now, you listen to pundits and they say, oh, well, if they keep everybody, then Justin's going to be here. If they get rid of everybody, then Justin's gone. Well, now they hit it right in the middle.
Yes.
I mean, should we really be surprised? But I still am.
This is the scary one, right? I heard this the other day, and I know you, just to elaborate on this, because I was just like, some people are talking about, well, let's just get the top quarterback and let's keep them both rostered. Let's keep Fields and the number one quarterback to pick rostered at the same time. And I'm like,
and the reason you would do that is why?
Exactly. But that's what people are talking about. Well, you could have them both under contract, and it's like, well, why? What is the end game to this? Because if Justin doesn't outplay him, his stock just went into the tank, And then if you sit the young person down and that offensive coordinator isn't the person who's going to be there, say now the coaching staff flips out. I mean, there's just so many things that can go sideways with this. I don't know. Do you think the Luke Getsy move was too early, too fast?
Actually, you know what? I think it was knee-jerk. Now, should it have happened? Yes. But I also feel that if you say Luke Getsy did enough, and I'm saying that with the faintest of lines that he, crossed, but now you're asking, like you said, an offensive coordinator, and nobody with any proven stability is going to want to take that job because it's like, okay, I'm a one and done.
Yeah.
With a lame duck coach. Why would you want to put yourself in a position? Now, we don't know people's situations. Maybe they need a little money. Maybe somebody, wants to get a chance to prove themselves. That we don't have the answer to currently. But when I look at the people that they're interested in, if you're Shane Waldron, why would you come into the Bears when you might be able to be the head man in Seattle?
And this is why,
if you're Clint Kubiak, and you're literally kind of hanging off the coattails of what is going on in San Francisco. Well, why wouldn't you try to go and get the Atlanta job? Isn't that where your dad came from? Where Kyle Shanahan came from originally? So why would you come to the Bears? You know, it's almost like you're throwing up a Hail Mary and you're hoping for the best.
Yeah, and
without having any type of real plan.
Right, and they punched out all the skill position coaches. All of them are gone. You know, the quarterback's coach, the running backs coach, wide receivers coach, everybody's gone, right? So they're saying, okay, now the cupboard is bare on that side, but it was never that much in the cupboard as it was from what we understand. Now, what do you do? Because, as you said, I don't see a top guy coming in and bringing in his staff right now. Because the top guy could say, hey, you know what? There's some teams out here. I might be able to go be the head coach. And so now we're going to get a 2-tier, maybe even a 3-tier guy coming in here now coaching this offense. Because what are we going? Do you think they're going to try to go bring in somebody from college? I mean, what is the plan here? I don't understand what they're doing.
And that's the thing. When you have, you always saying you throw, what to the wall and hope it sticks.
Yeah.
I'm kind of feeling that way right now because now you start hearing, like you said, those second and third tier guys. So now you're looking at what? And I'm not saying these guys are not good coaches, but you're not bringing Frank Reich in here to run any version of that quick pass West Coast off. Frank Reich likes to drive the ball down the field.
Right.
You're not bringing in him without getting certain personnel. You're not bringing in a Byron Leftwich to come in without being able to drive the ball down the field. So who are you getting? Like, okay, Waldron's system, Kubiak's system, they are similar to what Getsy was running. But as you see, Clint Kubiak in the 49ers, Brock Purdy leads the league in air yards per attempt. So he's just not checking the ball down. He's actually throwing the ball downfield. Whereas we know Getsy was not a proponent of that. They actually do something that Getsy didn't do with throw slants. Hey, quarterback's best friend, 1-2, boom, get it out your hands. Build some rapport, some continuity with your receivers. If you have an offensive-minded coach that's coming in there and he's not running that system, then what's the point? You could have left Getsy here to do the same BS and then get rid of everybody next year. But I think they're putting the cart before the horse, unless there's something that Ryan Poles is like, he's got the joker, the big joker, sitting up under his sleeve, waiting to drop it at a moment, at a moment's notice. But other than that, I just do not see the direction.
It's funny that we're saying direction. The Bears this cycle have already put in to interview Liam Cohen, and they're looking to move forward with a lot of offensive. And I'm going to go back to something you said a long time ago. They're looking at Greg Olsen, now Liam Cohen, they're as you said, Clint Kubiak. But at this point, it seems like you need an old man. But I have the feeling when it comes to the Bears, the old man that you think you go and get the old sage, then you end up going and getting like an old Mike Martz. You get someone who is completely out of touch with the reality of what the NFL is right now. So if you're looking at it from that standpoint, do you say, JB, that maybe the best thing you can do is just hope that an older coach who isn't as worried about job stability or security comes in and helps to mentor and teach Justin? Or is this something where you're just going to have a rotation of young coaches who think they know what they're doing?
Didn't we have that guy? Didn't we have that guy coach at the White Sox? Didn't they bring in that guy?
That is the White Sox.
That is the White
Sox. And until this last hire, that was the Cubs also. Yeah, I mean, you just I don't know if it's a Chicago thing that you just go and get guys who either look like what you want them to look like or what you think they do, but they really don't do.
Can we ask a question, though? The obvious thing out there, I just don't see it happening. Do you think the Bears are going to try to make a run at Jim Harbaugh?
No.
It would have happened already.
Yeah.
You think so?
Here's another question. Would Jim Harbaugh take the Bears job?
If they gave him what he wanted. I mean, it all depends on what he wants, though.
What does he want?
The problem with, you're wondering how much control he will want to have. And then secondly, the quarterback situation is up in the air for him unless he wants to bring his kid in. You know, this he said, hey, go bring McCarthy in over here. I could deal with him. We already know what the offense is going to be. You know, because we know he's supposed to go out. I think speak with the Chargers. A couple other places he's supposed to go around. I'm wondering.
He's going to the Chargers now. I think he's there, like now.
Yeah. So
and he's not. They're not going to let him leave, and that would be the destination of choice because they don't have a GM. One, two. You coming in with a stud quarterback, and you have a defense that has totally underperformed under Brandon Staley.
Yeah,
that is the ideal job, and he's a California kid.
Oh, and you forget the one big thing about that.
What's that?
His wife wants to go back to California.
You know, he's going
and
back
I'm
to
not,
Cali.
and I'm not saying that jokingly now. It's been in multiple reports. She's even put it on social media.
Yeah.
She wants to go back and prefer Southern California.
Well, there it is.
So, there we are, my friend. There we are. So now you're left with some old retread coach that obviously is going to inherit something, but we don't know what it is. But we know today, JB, after the shellacking that the Texans put on the Browns, we know that good old Brother Poles missed out on somebody.
Hey,
and he's playing quarterback for the Texans right now.
Isn't that the second quarterback we missed out on like that?
Bruh.
So now wait, fellas, hold on.
Okay.
In fairness,
yes,
C.J. Stroud would not be looking like that here because of what Getsy and Flus would have allowed to happen. Remember, they also said C.J. Stroud failed miserably on the Wonderlic test and was questioning could he process.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that just tells you about the Wonderlic test, doesn't it?
It's full of, I wonder.
But didn't they say
no
that,
dump button right now.
No.
that Justin, he didn't fare as well on the Wonderlic?
No, Justin had the highest score, I think they said, ever
on the Wonderlic. But he just doesn't fare well on the field.
So now, again, you're telling me a kid that's got the brilliance to score high on an aptitude test that means absolutely shit when it comes to football.
Oh, yeah. We want to go beat.
There it is. I slipped, fellas. My bad. Beat, dumb button. But you tell me that kid can't learn?
Yeah.
Or is it the way you're teaching them? How many times have we been to school and we get a bad grade on a test and we tell our parents, oh, they think you're messing around in class or talking too much? I'm like, no, Mom, Dad, they're not teaching. It happens. I'm not saying it's a get out of jail free card for this case with Justin, because Justin does have to do and take some accountability on things that he have and have not done. But I look at Bobby Slowick and I look at what DeMeco Ryans did with C.J. Stroud. They literally sat down with him and built the playbook together based on what he liked to do at Ohio State.
Right.
And that's what you're supposed to do as a rookie play caller and a rookie quarterback. We in this together. The only thing that I say was like the change was DeMeco Ryans was allowing them, right? Because he's a defensive quarterback. I mean, a defensive head coach. He allowed them to say, look, this is what the kid does best. Put us in a position to win. Whereas a Luke Getsy, hold on, remember, when Getsy came in, he had multiple press conferences where he came out and said he needs to learn the offense. He was gung-ho, learn my system, that's it, that's all. And it came to bite us as Bears fans in the behind.
But in this now, the new NFL, that we're expecting these quarterbacks being drafted high, that they're going to come in and they're going to be stars right away. They came in, you see, so C.J. Stroud's been able to do, some other young quarterbacks when they came in. And now that is the watermark, that you got to come in and you got to come in right now and start playing very well. As we saw back in my day, these quarterbacks got drafted in, they sat up underneath quarterbacks. You saw Aaron Rodgers sit up underneath Favre for so many years. You saw Garoppolo sitting up underneath the quarterbacks for so many years. Brady, you've seen a number of quarterbacks who got groomed into these systems. I'm wondering now, because we're in that, that Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately situation, and coaching staffs they don't even unpack their bags anymore. I'm surprised. I'm very sure they have a 7-room house and only 2 rooms got furniture in it, because it's a revolving carousel. that's going on right now. You don't see anything like with Mike Tomlin at the Steelers. You don't see anything like Belichick with the Patriots. You know, that's old. It used to be time those coaches, you knew when you said a certain coach's name who he coached for, but it's not like that anymore. You always had to go, well, where is he at now? You know, so do we just want too much too soon from these new quarterbacks now? Are we asking too much, JB, too early? Are we expecting too much, especially from this first round pick? Because I know there was a Bulls 4 pick in the first round that I expected a lot of, and I still ain't got it.
I have to answer that with a yes and a no, because as many cases as you can give me of guys that came right in on their first try and failed,
yeah.
There's a almost equal number that came in and had success.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, you have the people like Patrick Mahomes sat for a year. You have the Dak Prescott that sat, basically was going to keep sitting until, before Tony Romo got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You have certain cases that Jordan Love sat, Aaron Rodgers and all that stuff, like we stated. But if you're on either side of the fence as far as what's the best way to go, I don't think that comes down to coaching and preference. I think that comes down to ownership, marketability, and money.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Burrow, people want to be like, oh, well, look at Joe Burrow, came right in the start. Joe Burrow was terrible his first year, but also Joe Burrow was 25 years old as a rookie.
Right.
So he was already kind of, he wasn't a brash 21-year-old kid. He was he was grown already.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Nix.
So the Bo Nix is about to be 25 or 26, I think.
Yeah.
So you have those, right? But then when you try to compare situations, those quarterbacks that had success or come from more of a pro-style offense in college, they have more immediate success. Those that come from the old school college, like, hey, I'm throwing up the numbers on the sideline, you know what it means, looks to me, like why Jalen Hurts is playing so well under Lincoln Riley, but that same Jalen Hurts did not look like that when he played with Nick Saban.
Yeah.
And there's something to that formula, right? But when it comes to us, you brought up a name and you said Mike Martz.
Mm-hmm.
When you have somebody, and that Greatest Show on Turf was one of the greatest times of us watching the evolution of the long ball, right?
Right.
But I challenge people. I say it may not have been prolific as far as the numbers and the style, but I go look at Jerry Glanville's red gun offense.
Yes, sir.
In
Yes,
Atlanta
sir.
back in the day. Yeah, you see where I'm going with
Yes,
this, right?
sir.
Go look at Houston when Warren Moon had them boys, Drew
Yes,
Hill,
sir.
Yep.
Haywood Jeffries, and them. Didn't that look eerily similar?
It did.
So what's wrong with getting that type of coach that wants to come in and teach a system? Right now, I am so sick of the screen pass. I'm going to scream every time I see it now because it is just it's changed. Eric Bieniemy leaves Kansas City, and now they've thrown more screens than anybody in the league. Kansas City, the team that's known for going downfield.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's something to be said about getting that right person. And if you don't pick the right person now, do you guys, I'm throwing it out to you, my question now.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable with Ryan Poles going into 2025 making coaching decisions?
No.
I think he's masterful right now as far as draft capital.
Yes.
But coaching personnel, I'm not feeling it.
I think he's in a situation that there are coaches that he wants to get, but they're not going to come. And I think that's what the situation is now. I think that's why he dumped Getsy out so quick. To let somebody know, hey, we'll get rid of this side of the ball now. If you want to come take care of this side of the ball, maybe you are an OC somewhere and you're looking to be a head coach in a year or two. Well, you might come up in here. We'll see. Maybe we'll dump Eberflus next year, and you'll be the head coach. I mean, you never know what deals are being made right now because Eberflus was on the hot seat.
Let me throw one more in there.
Go ahead.
Let me throw one more in there for you. When have the Bears ever fired a coach before their contract was up?
Oh no, they don't eat no money.
Because you go to Vegas and we see that your boy over there he paying 2 coaches right now in an interim.
You're right.
Well, we always knew the Bears were always a business and not somebody's hobby, and that's what the problem is with money with the Bears has been anyway. It's impossible to win on a regular basis when this is how you make your money for your family. You know,
Correct.
This has to be a side hustle for you.
Well, here's my side hustle question, and I ask this, and we've talked about it before, but now I'm looking at things, JB, and so we're not finding a great coaching solution. So we haven't even we can't identify a coaching solution. But one thing I do question at this point, and tell me if I'm wrong, I'm looking at Kevin Warren, and I'm looking at some of the moves, and I'm looking at who hired him and how this is all falling into place. And I'm beginning to wonder to myself, is Kevin Warren, is he just the new age version, the melanated version of Ted Phillips? Is he still in that same mindset? Because after you see some of the moves that were made and not made this past week by the Chicago Bears, some of the delays, some of the questionable remarks that were made during a presser, is Kevin Warren going to come in and do anything different from what the Bears ownership wants of their general manager or their president of football operations?
Question with a question. What was Kevin Warren brought in here to do again?
Get a stadium, correct?
Yeah. And
how's
where's that
that
going?
going?
Yeah. Where's that going to be at? Because I heard it's coming back to Chicago.
Wait, forget not knowing where it's going. How about you spend money and it's not going there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I got to wonder, like, hey, does this guy know what he's doing? And I was all for it because you figure, hey, he was a president of the Big Ten. Big Ten make a lot of money. Like, okay, financially, we know the Bears ain't hurting.
You're right.
They're not hurting at all. But where are and he's a former football guy, too, which is kind of crazy. Ryan Poles, you sat all that time as an assistant GM and scout in Kansas City, and you've learned nothing. You give us Velus Jones. I call him Velvet.
Mm-hmm.
You got lightning in a bottle. You caught lightning Velvet Jones. Hey, I'm Velvet Jones. Right.
That is it. That's the correct term for him.
You gave us Darnell Wright. You gave us Gordon and Brisker. Love it. But here we go again. You give us one offensive piece, and you give us more defense. We always going to have a good defense. Sometimes they just get tired, and it starts to fail, and we look real 15, 16, 17-ish because we on the field so long. But DJ Moore, you was trying to get DJ Moore since last year, so I give you credit on DJ Moore. Other than that, what have you given us?
And, funny enough, you mentioned that. I was reading earlier that I don't know which of the holy high holies, Amun Ra, Saint Ra, High Holy Mary Magdalene Ra, one of those Saint Ra, Amun Brown people, said that they blame Justin Fields for sabotaging Mooney's season this year. I saw a kid dropping balls.
Everybody's in stunned silence.
Yes, because when I read it, I was like, "What?" I said, "No, I've got to read this again." And sure enough, there's this guesstimation that because they wanted to underpay Mooney, that Justin Fields decided not to throw to him. I thought maybe he stopped throwing to him because he wouldn't catch his balls.
I don't know, because now we're injecting that integrity word into the football. I don't know a player that wants to not perform to get paid. Right. And I don't know a player that would purposely sabotage themselves in one situation hoping to get paid big bucks for the next. You're always auditioning, right? Mm-hmm. And once you get to that free agent point, you don't have to. I mean, come on, Darnell Mooney, right? Solid player. He was not going to be franchise tagged. He was not going to be the Bears' number one. When they brought in Claypool, he was moved to number 3, clearly. Mm-hmm. Probably 4 because they throw the commit. In my opinion, you do yourself a disservice as a player. Tanking, that's an ownership term. Mm-hmm. Players should not want to do that because they're guaranteed money and positions is what kind of gets, that's their livelihood.
Right.
Now, somebody in the situation of last year with whatever they want to call it. I'm calling it a spade. They tanked. And they did a miserable job tanking because there were 7 games they actually could have won. So it's like, when you tank, you're not supposed to actually look like you're tanking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We saw it. So with that being said, you're tanking for XYZ, but those losses still go on that head coach and that quarterback. So now when you come back on the backside and you're like, oh, it's been 3 years and he's got XYZ amount of losses. Well, hell, 13 of them losses, I'll say about 8 of them wasn't his fault.
Right. And how does that affect a player, especially one of Justin's caliber, a devout player, one who is disciplined, one who I would say losing probably in the most part disturbs him and bothers him? How does that then reverberate through the rest of this team that for 1 year or 2 years now, you've actively been trying to lose? Not that you were playing to win, you were playing to get positioning. How does that affect moving forward? Because right now I'm looking at a team that's fractured. Let's just say you don't find a good OC. Well, then what do? Because you fired your whole staff. You fired the running backs coach. You fired the receivers coach. The only person you kept was the linemen's coach. And who says with the new OC he wants that offensive coordinator?
And that was one of your worst pieces of your offense was your offensive line.
Right. Who do he have pictures of, Like, my God.
So I'm at a quandary because I was being disingenuous in asking the question originally. But the question being that at this point, who do you even start to look towards unless it's a really super ambitious collegiate coach or some assistant that's been, I don't know, he just needs a job?
Well, here's the whole problem with it, right? We see successes go on at the NCAA level because usually the great teams are able to get the better players. Mm-hmm. I mean, you saw Michigan. Michigan, when was the last time you saw the SEC bullied by the Big Ten?
Right.
When's the last time?
The 90s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When have you seen that? I mean, on both sides of the ball, there was some beat down going on. Alabama was not used to what is this? I mean, they got punched in the mouth and got punched in the mouth on both sides of the ball. That Michigan football team is a scary football team.
They got punched in the mouth so, JB, that the old ball coach said, no mas.
Yeah, he
Correct.
gave up the ghost.
There was some paint swapping on them helmets that day, for sure.
And Saban understood, smart guy that he is, I cannot operate under this nil situation. And if Michigan can beat my guys into the ground like they did, because that was a battle. That was a full-blown fight, but Michigan kept throwing haymakers. And Alabama, I think that was the first time they really got their lip bloody like that. And they were like, hey, wait a minute, you guys aren't folding up?
That Texas game,
Yeah, you guys aren't folding up? Nope, we're not going to fold up, and we look crazy over here too. Mm-hmm. But because they can get superior athletes, that's when you can shine in the NCAA. When you get to the NFL, everybody's a superior athlete, right? But it's the great athletes, the great players that separates a ball club. And so now you look at the Chicago Bears, who've missed out on what, quote unquote, got some fingers up in the air, right, on 2 great players, even though we didn't know. And like you said, JB, we don't know if Stroud would have looked this way again. But one thing he can do is he can throw the long ball. I mean, he was putting the ball in the air on the money. He overthrew a guy today. He let the ball go when the guy was 50 yards out and still overthrew him. I mean, this kid's arm is amazing, but they throw people over. He can put the ball on people. Problem is right now with the Chicago Bears, we keep missing out on quarterbacks. I'm hoping that we didn't miss out again, but right now, who is he going to be taught by? This is my biggest problem right now. Why eject Getsy now, right? Because now what you've just told Fields was no stability for you. No stability for you. You finally learned this offense. Now we got another offense you're going to have to learn in the offseason, right?
Right.
I just don't. Why keep Eberflus then? See, this is my whole problem. Why keep Eberflus? If you're going to eject the other side of the ball, why keep Eberflus? I mean, if I want to do it, just tear the whole thing down.
That goes back to the Kevin Warren question. That goes back to this whole thing about Eberflus and Justin. It's all hodgepodge, and it's all it's the science kit of a madman. This is all
I
put
like
together.
that.
This is all a bad
It's
experiment.
Frankenstein. It's
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
Yeah. I don't see how the Bears come out of this better than what they were when they just went in, when they just let Getsy go. I hate to say that because I was anti-Fields for a long time. You guys know that.
I remember that. Yes.
Okay. and then I saw the boat go by and I dove out in the water and I started swimming over there because I started to understand some things. I said, okay, the defense looks like it's been playing better in the second half. Well, not a great defense, but Montez Sweat made a huge difference. Mm-hmm. You got those guys out there who'll come and hit you. We all know everybody's got to stay healthy, but that defense looked like it was going to be something for you. Now, all we got to do is figure out how to get Justin Fields, put some more pieces around him. That was my thing. You saw what he did with a true number one wide receiver, right? You saw what he did. Let's get in another guy of that caliber. Let's get in two out there. So now you can't double one. We're going to go to the other one. Now you're going to get the long ball. Now you can't put somebody and spy on Justin. Now you just can't fire somebody at the A-gap and get him off his spot. Those things will make him a better quarterback. But now you just taking the rug and snapped it underneath his feet. And did you hear this? Did you hear his interview when he was leaving, when the last one he gave out? He basically like, hey, it's been nice in Chicago. So good to be here. And basically he was like waving his hand and jumping on the Dan Ryan and going wherever he was going to go. So now you have a kid who definitely right now, if I'm Justin Fields, I'm trying to get out of Chicago.
And that's what we see. That's what we didn't want, because now look at the difference in the press conference. It seemed like one got a vote of confidence from Eberflus, right? But then here comes that political spin, that spin doctrine, right? But then Justin kind of gives it to you like raw, like, hey, I've enjoyed my time here. If it's my last day, you know what I'm saying? Chuck the deuces, I'm out. Because now in the back of my mind, it's like, you're not giving me any certainty. You're not giving me any votes of confidence. Like, am I your guy or am I not? Because the first thing people are going to do, as we know media spins, right? They're literally going to say, oh, Justin's terrible in Chicago. Then you're going to have a bunch of GMs say, oh, they're terrible. Next thing you know, the first team that needs a quarterback, hey, y'all, what's up with Justin?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We got a second-round pick for you.
Right.
What and you know, you played a long game, of course, right?
Yeah.
But we can't afford that, because even if people talk, and this is why I said I hate when people talk about that money stuff. You resetting the market don't do nothing but waste other players' timetables. That defense, I feel, is ready to win now. I feel it's highly formidable.
Yes.
Right? But if you bring in, let's just say, because, you know, he doesn't want to be here, but let's just say Caleb Williams, you bring him in here. You're not going to win now with Caleb Williams, because guess what? You don't have anybody around Caleb Williams that's going to be able to make him do what Justin was. Justin's greatest asset was turning something out of nothing.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams can't do that consistently.
No,
not for real, not in real life.
And here's the problem with Caleb Williams, which scared me with Caleb Williams the time I saw him on his losses. Now, he looked great in his wins, but when the things were going up against him, and he actually put pressure in his face, like that's what's coming in the NFL. They're going to give you what you don't like. If you don't like pressure, if you can't, the reason why Tom Brady was the best quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks to ever throw it, was because if you blitzed him, he knew it was coming and he knew where to put the football. And you were going to pay if you blitzed Tom Brady. And so you did, after a while, they stopped blitzing Brady because he was going to beat you. He wasn't going to beat you with his legs. They know with Justin Fields, if we put it in his face, and we know these tackles that they have still cannot block the edges. I was so sad today when I was seeing the Texans bookends, Fant, and I forgot what the other gentleman's name is. I can't think of his name.
Will Anderson going roughshod.
Yeah, and they're just and you saw what they were doing, and it's just like we can't find people like that. I mean, at least one of them. You know, and so it's just now you're putting a young quarterback in a position where he's uncomfortable, right? He's not comfortable sitting in the pocket delivering the football. We know that. Move the pocket. I don't understand why, if they're, and then to your point, JB, all of a sudden now we became the most screen-happy team that has ever thrown a screen ever in life. Like, screens are supposed to be surprises, not supposed to be a die, because guess what happens? Guys start jumping those screens. Because we know they start disguising that cover two. All of a sudden now they roll it up into a cover one, and they drive on that screen. He starts running down there before the ball is thrown. That guy's take it off, and all of a sudden the screen gets blown up. And then you're putting your wide receivers in positions to get hurt, just like that kid from Pittsburgh, right? What he said was true. It wasn't good football, but he said, I'm not stock blocking nobody. I'm not getting run up behind. And you see it happening all the time because all these teams now are screen happy. They love throwing that bubble screen for some reason, but you're getting your best players rolled up on. And the biggest thing they have is speed. Oh, JB, can I ask you one question since I'm on the ramp?
Yeah, come on with it.
Why have we decided in the NFL and the NCAA that we just not going to wear knee pads or any type of knee braces anymore?
Oh, because it's trendy. It looks good.
I saw the big tackle out there, no knee pads on and no knee brace. All of a sudden, he gets cracked in the back of the knee, and guess what? He hold on to his leg.
Well, who should think about that is probably Cole Kmet.
Oh yeah, he got jacked up on that long ball down there.
Games of the season, he was jacked. No knee pads, just
no knee pads. And he's a physical guy. He's not running away and he's not trying to avoid any contact.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't.
But again, you know what a good coach would do? Hey man, you are an asset right now. You're an investment. Put them goddamn knee pads on, man.
Yeah,
come on.
Absolutely.
I can't afford for you. Linemen, wear the knee brace so you don't get hurt.
Right, and that's the whole thing about it right now. You're looking at these guys like, are the inmates running the asylum? Because that's what it seems like a lot of times now. Because people are really out there wearing shorts. It's shorts and shoulder pads out there playing right now.
7-on-7. But only
7-on-7 flag. Football is coming, I'm telling you.
The sad part is there's still contact, though.
And these guys...
Well, here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Again, now this is kind of going off the tracks, but since you opened the door, we'll go there.
Yeah.
I blame collective bargaining agreements because players don't hit now during practice during the week. So their first real taste of hitting is like the first quarter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't enough. You need to go back to 2 days and at least hitting 2-3 times a week.
Well, but they're not going back there because they're going to keep. We're going to have 20 game seasons here coming up pretty soon. We're going to have a team stuck over in London. That's coming, because the playoff today was great. Today, I was tuned in. I was half asleep. I had Chinese bed day where I buy Chinese food and I lay across the bed and I watched.
That's definitely going to put you to sleep.
Yeah, and I started watching these games where I got to come into the show. And, it's because the NFL is the greatest draw of a sporting event yet to be devised by man. I don't see anybody else outdrawing the NFL at any point in time, especially during the playoffs, because everybody's watching. In fantasy, oh my goodness, now you got people just locked in 100% now. But so I don't know. I just think it is a situation now that we have with the Bears. I know I'm turning back the other way. JB, I don't see how we're getting out of this. I don't see a way. I was sitting there thinking about it today, like, okay, what's the end game? Who are they going to bring in? Are they going to bring in the wide receiver? I mean, are they going to bring in the quarterback and their head coach to be the OC, their offensive coordinator? Are we going to take a whole staff coming out? Is SC's whole staff coming? You know what I'm saying?
So here, let me break that down real quick.
Yeah.
When you are in Ryan Pohl's position right now, in my opinion, you cannot afford to let Matt Eberflus pick his next head OC. You cannot.
No. Oh, no.
Because of what he did with Getsy. Too many rookies in key positions.
Yeah.
Not like you had a quality control coach for the first time. No. That's not what we had. We talking about somebody that's never called plays before, never been a coordinator before,
right?
And was a quarterback's coach to Aaron Rodgers, who told him, "Hey man, go get my latte."
Absolutely.
That's it. That's it. So just for the sheer fact that you felt that whatever he did in the interview was enough, okay, I'm gonna give you a job. But you know what else I'm gonna do? Let me bring a veteran assistant or a consultant or something
but
to go along with that.
Who are we talking? I mean, the thing about it, we know who we want. The question is, we just can't put a name to it. That's my biggest.
But that's the thing. I don't think they know who they want because they keep trying to talk about Bears football. Oh, you can't throw the ball in the wintertime in Chicago. That's bull. Yes, you can.
Well, if they can put a dome.
We've had people that can do it.
Well, they're supposed to put a dome out there in Arlington, ain't they? I mean, are they supposed to put a dome out there out in the western suburbs?
Well, I mean, if it's not there, it's going to be in the parking lot next to the what's the name?
Oh my goodness! At the 50-yard line.
Place.
Yeah, at the 50-yard line, you're gonna have the Ferris wheel going around.
And it's going to be something like that. Yeah. But these guys got to really, really sit down. You don't have a lot of time. I know people be like, "Man, we got to wait till April." No, do you see how many deals are being done right now? Patriots got in real quick, got Gerard Mayo. I think I said this before, that I see Bill Belichick possibly going to the Commanders because it just makes sense. I mean, if you really, really want to right this ship, and I'm talking about right now, you go and you get Eric Bieniemy, you bring him in as your OC, you got a rapport with him and Casey, and you give him assistant head coach credentials just in case Eberflus flops. You go and get somebody like a Kurt Warner is my pick, or you get Chase Daniels, who just recently has said that he would love to interview for the Bears quarterback coach position. You get somebody like that who actually breaks down film and knows the quarterbacking position really, really well. Then you go and you get you a Leslie Frazier or a Ron Rivera to get this defense back right because they run similar systems. You got everybody taken care of, right? You got what? You got your veteran leadership. What's next? You got your guy that's going to get that vertical passing game because we're still starved for a 30-touchdown, 4,000-yard passer. Mm-hmm. Eric Bieniemy can get it. If he got the 4,000 yards with Sam Howell, he can definitely get it with Justin. And then, unfortunately, yes, you make Eberflus look good. But at this point, if we're winning and the combination is what we need, we either get rid of him and move on forward, or we ride with what we get go into the sunset, and we at least get to the playoffs. If you get to the playoffs, you got a chance. That's what I want to see. And if that's not on the docket, then we're wasting time.
True. And that encapsulates and that puts a period on everything that we've talked about during the segment, because we wanted to give the listeners a concrete person or at least a plan. Now, the only problem is, JB, that sounds too logical, so that means that the Bears won't do it, but it will at least give listeners an idea of what needs to happen moving forward. The old sage, the old dog that's going to come in and teach the young pups something about how to run in the yard. So before we get ready to go, JB, you've got to tell the listeners, how do they follow you? How do they keep up with CCP? Let them know what it is they have to do to follow you and keep up with what you're doing on a weekly basis.
You can catch me on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. We air on YouTube, Facebook. I'm going to call it Twitter because it just don't sound right saying X. I feel like I'm watching something dirty. But and Twitch.
Hilarious. That's funny. I'm gonna steal that one from you. I'm stealing that joke just like they did from Cat Williams.
Watch it, sir. Show. You gotta have me on that. That's another show.
Yeah. That's for the podcast, sir. That's a full uncut. So we want to thank you, man, for coming in and really giving us your time on the weekends. And we got to do this again. In fact, we got to do a podcast where we can do a full uncut and we don't need to use a dump button. We just dump ourselves.
Count me in, fellas. I do want to ask one question. It's more of just an observation more than a question. But my thing with moving forward with media, can we please get some media in there that's going to tell the truth and not these half-cocked stories that we hear? I'm so sick of ESPN 1000, man. I'm ready to cancel my subscription.
They're homers,
and
man.
It's free.
It's homers.
And it's free.
No, yeah, that's bad.
It's getting to the point now where you don't want to listen to any of the national pundits, be they Fox, ESPN, wherever this goes, even on CBS, because you're fed such malarkey. And when real reporters do the real work and go out there and report things, just like you had me to go back and really investigate Courtney Cronin and find out where was the genesis of this Eberflus thing coming from.
Right.
And that's a story that nobody talks about, is the fact that Ryan Poles was given an edict by going all the way back to Ted Phillips. So this has the tentacles of this that's why I said I love your plan. To me, it makes too much sense. You bring in a Ron Rivera, you bring in someone on that offensive Eric Bieniemy, perfect person. And as you said, if this all goes belly up with Flus, then hey, Eric Bieniemy, you want to be a head coach? I mean, we got a spot open because we gonna fire this dude. So to me, it just makes too much sense, and it makes too much sense for something that the Bears will not and probably cannot execute.
And just to let you know, what does ESPN, what's the first word stand for? Entertainment. And that we forget sports are entertainment. There's not supposed to be truth. This is a soap opera. That's all this is. And they can keep us tied into it like they do the days of our lives. And they keep us talking about it and sweating right now and worried all about this situation that's going on. They've done their job, and here we are.
Well, you know what? I'm going to leave y'all with this. There was a team in Chicago whose fan base stood up and said enough is enough, and they didn't go to games. And then the owners got scared and went and got one of the best general managers / presidents in baseball history. And at least they came in and brought us a title.
Amen. Amen for that.
Amen.
Thank you, Ozzy. I love Ozzy.
I don't think he was talking about Ozzy.
I love Ozzy.
He knows I wasn't talking about Ozzy.
I know.
I was talking about Theo.
Now people are like, oh my God, Ozzy brought him a title? You can't.
I'm just joking.
JB, man, thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate you, man, and thanks for giving your time on a Saturday evening to give the listeners something really to listen to. So we look forward to our next conversation with you, brother.